I would like to give you a warning before we move on to this video, is that this video will contain actual IELTS questions. So, if you don't want to actually take a look at the IELTS questions, or know about the exam, or you want to experience the thing for yourself, then I would advise you to click off this video and watch something else. Yeah, I don't like spoilers, so that's why I'm making a spoiler alert for this video. But if you actually decide to take a look at my results and some information about the examination, then you may go ahead, but I am not responsible for any spoilers that ruin your experience, because I've provided you with this warning. So, let's get started with the main video. So do you see what this is? There are 5 letters here. It says IELTS. It's pronounced IELTS. It is the International English Language Testing System Examination, and it's taken by millions worldwide. And I just recently taken this examination, and surprisingly, I did pretty good. So let's talk about IELTS in general first. So, what this thing is that, let's talk about the acronym first. I stands for International. E, English. L, Language. T, Testing. And S is System. It is the International English Language Testing System Examination. What this essentially means is this is probably a qualification exam for you to maybe study overseas or get a UK visa or something, depending on what you actually want to achieve. This is a test or exam to English skills in 4 aspects, which I'm going to do. This. Alright, so we're gonna talk about the IELTS. So the entire thing, IELTS, consists of 4 aspects of English language, which include reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And this is the exact same as the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education Examination. You have all 4, but the scoring system is different. Okay, so the next part here. So all 4, for all 4 of these, the top score you can get is a 9.0. Which probably leads to a 9-band system, shown right here. This is 0, which means you did not take the test. It's basically a DNF. Number 1 is considered very limited, which means you can't really speak English. Number 2 is limited. Number 1 means non-user, and number 2 is intermittent user, which you're not really that familiar with English. Number 0 is basically a DNF. Number 1 is a non-user. Number 2 is intermittent user. Number 3 It's extremely limited. Right here. Extremely limited. Which the name says it all. Number 4 would be limited. I would say number 4 is not really that good. You do not want to get anything below a number 5, which is modest user. Which a number 5 is not enough for you to get a university qualification. And then you get number 6. Most universities have a requirement of this level, which is competent user. This level is starting to get common among IELTS takers. And then you get level 7, which is good. Level 7 and above means that you are very good at English. And number 8 means very good user. I'd say only a fraction of people only get 8. And the highest score is 9. Expert user. Even I can't get this. This is a perfect score. So, right here, they also have half bands, which is like 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, etc. And it's basically between one of these. Like, if, for example, you get 7.5, you're still considered as good. Alright, so, after the grading system, I'm going to talk about my results. So I took the test about 1 week before recording this video, and I really did not expect a score. Yes, I'm recording this so that I can share my feelings. And my overall band score is a level 8, which means I'm a very good user. The test taker has full operational command of the language with only occasional unsystematic inaccuracies and inappropriate usage. So occasional. They may misunderstand some things in unfamiliar situations. They handle complex and detailed argumentation well. So what I expected after I took the test, which is about a 6.5. You know, I said only a fraction of people get band 8, which is, I think it's very surprising. Yeah. These are very good user. I've trained for quite a number of years, inside and outside of school, and I've built a passion for this very subject. And I actually wanted to take this exam voluntarily. I just needed my parents to pay for it. So that's why I somehow got a level 8. Alright, let's move on to the next photo, which is the subtest results. So here's a photo of my full score, which is pretty good. Yeah, I am quite surprised I got the score. Alright, so let's talk about listening first. Listening, 8.5, which is nearly a perfect score. So, I've done some research on these scores, and an 8.5 in listening is about 38 to 39 out of 40. 37 to 38. Yep, this is my level in the school exams. I got a 37 out of 39 in the uniform test, and a 37 to 38 out of 40 in the IELTS, which means I'm pretty good at this. Listening. This is paper free. 8.5. I knew during my exam I missed 1 to 2 questions. So yeah. I did expect myself to get an 8, but not an 8.5. This is the highest I've ever got out of all 4 of these. The next one is reading. Reading. 8.0. So I train myself in IELTS reading. For the British Council, they offer the IELTS Ready Premium courses for free. So I took it, gave it a go. I tried 2 reading mock examinations, and the first time I got a level 6, and the second time I got a 5.5, which gave me the feeling of, oh, wait, you know what? That's it. I'm expecting to get a 6 on reading. So, in the listening exam, it's basically like HKDSC Part A. And for reading, you're basically doing Part B2 3 times. And probably the last passage, Part 3, is probably a new level, B3. Trust me, it's quite difficult. I expected a 6.0 in reading. I didn't expect an 8. Next one, writing. 7.0. This is the lowest score I have. I have nothing below a 7. For writing, I wrote about 250 words for the first part and 540 words in part 2. Which I took it like the DSE. I want to try something new besides DSE. But I am actually going to take the DSE next year. So why not, if I try taking the IELTS writing, and I can understand how it actually works. Since IELTS and DSE writing are quite similar, but the difference is, in part 2, DSE allows you to pick one question from 4 questions, but for IELTS, there's no choice. And during my writing's mock exam for IELTS, the topic was about animal experimentation, which made me surf the internet to get some answers, and then eventually I only got a 6. And this part, for the real IELTS, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier for the real IELTS exam compared to the mock examination. Last but not least, speaking. 7.5. I have 2 things to say about this. Number 1, the speaking lessons at school probably paid off. You know, at school, our teachers schedule some lunchtime or speaking practices with us. They probably paid off. So if you're watching this video, teacher, shout out to you. You're awesome. You're one of the reasons I got a 7.5 in IELTS speaking. And second of all, I was very nervous when I took the speaking exam. I really did expect myself to only get a level 4. I stuttered quite a lot, and I did not have much ideas on the part 2 topic. And sometimes I do get interrupted by the examiner. But regardless, I'm going to talk about some of the topics I've included. They included talking about my hometown in part 1. And later on in the part 1, they moved on to street markets. And then part 2 was talk about one place I visited in the countryside recently and why I enjoyed it. And then part 3 continues from part 2. And they talked about rural areas and something like agriculture or something. I don't really remember. And I did not really have much ideas, and I lost confidence when the examiner asked me if I have any more ideas. I think I was cooked by then. I really thought to myself, you know what? That's it. IELTS speaking, I'm gonna get a 4.0. And when I take a look at this 7.5, like 7.5 speaking, this is a Rickroll. Come on, British Council, don't be Rickrolling me. I know it's almost April Fool's, because that time it was March 31st. I know it's April Fool's, but I don't think you should Rickroll me for this. But it's actually real. I did not believe I actually got a 7.5, but it's real. And the overall band score is an 8.0. It's because these four, you add up these four to get a total mark out of 36, and you divide it by, right, everything by 4, so that you can get this 8.0. But however, this part, I actually made the calculations, and I only got a 7.75 in the IELTS. This is myself barely getting an 8.0. If I get like something like 7.5 in reading, there's no 8 for me. Only 7.5. Because let's do it right here. Give an example, 7 and 8. Right here, 7.5. Here's a 7.5. There's a third quarter, 7.75, and here's 7.25. If you have a score between 7.25 to 7.5, you are probably getting 7.5. If you get a 7.5 to 7.75, you're getting 7.5. But if you get 7.5 to 8.0, you get an 8. This is the bare minimum you can get. I should get to get an 8.0. And this is my test report form, which includes listening. This is my test report form. It includes listening, reading, writing, and speaking. All goes into this overall band score and leads up to the CEFR level of C1. What is CEFR level? It's basically another English language proficiency ranking system. C1 is considered advanced, and it's an IELTS 7.0 to 8.0. And this part right here, goes from A0, A1, A2, and then B1, B2, C1, and C2. With A1 or A0 being the lowest, and C2 being the highest. C2 is considered like you get 9.0 or 8.5. But for C1, wait. Why would I get a razor? C1. Or I'm just oh my gosh. C1. But if you actually get an 8.0, you're still getting C1. And an 8.0 is good enough to get into 99% of organizations and universities around the world. Compared to the HKDSC, I do have a very high score, which I would say, 5-star overall. Level 5 in reading. Writing, yep, level 7. Listening actually goes down to here because I'm not 8.57. And speaking, 7.04. So, 8.0, 7.0, 8.5, and 7.5. You can see right here. It just goes down here. So I do get a level 5 or a 5-star in English language. So this is the part where I'm going to talk about the IELTS 2025 writing task 2 question, and this is their final warning, so if you don't like spoilers, you can just click out. Since your guys are awesome, I'm gonna explain the IELTS 2025 writing task 2 question. So it goes like this. Some experts on road safety say that all cyclists should have to pass a test before being allowed to ride their bicycles on public roads. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So, when you take the IELTS test, this is actually the question I got in IELTS 2025. So, you should understand the main point or key phrases. Some experts on road safety say that this is the main point right here. All cyclists should have to pass a test before being allowed to ride their bicycles on public roads. This is the experts on road safety's opinion. You will have to agree or disagree with this opinion. This is quite. So I'd say this is probably an argumentative essay. This may appear in the HKDSE, so I'm going to talk about this one now. So all cyclists. So there are few keywords. All cyclists should have to pass a test before being allowed to ride their bicycles on public roads. So, you have to agree or disagree. So, I wrote that I agree, and for IELTS, they will ask you, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Like, I don't particularly remember what I wrote for most of the passage, but I would say one phrase would be regarding this opinion, I would most definitely agree that and then you have to explain the reasons. So let's do some brainstorming. So number 1 is talk about all cyclists will have to pass a test. And you will have to think of the benefits that the test will bring. For example, increased or enhanced knowledge of cycling skills in public roads. You still need some of your own ideas. This you can take this as the HKDSE. Another one could be it could prevent accidents by a landslide. This would also, I'll give you another idea on this. It could also raise the awareness of cyclists regarding the issue of road safety and its policies, laws, and consequences that can be given for accidents and such. And then this is, if all cyclists want to pass a test, the test will bring an increase in enhanced knowledge of cycling skills on public roads, and it can prevent accidents by a landslide. And it can also raise the awareness of cyclists regarding the issues and road safety and its policies. And cyclists would understand that if they break the policies, they will have certain consequences. Increased enhanced knowledge in cycling skills. This could also be public safety knowledge. All right. Screenshot this one if you can, since I'm going to move on to the next point. Okay. Moving on to the next point I'd like to explain is the current situation of public roads. You can mention public roads. I'll give you like one sentence so you can understand the idea. So, I'd say accidents can happen at any time. Since cyclists may also ride their bicycles on public roads, it is paramount that cyclists understand the importance of ensuring road safety, ensure safety on the roads. So you could talk about what happens if a cyclist gets into an accident, or just road safety in general. Another sentence that I can give you guys is, you can imagine a scenario. Imagine that a cyclist bumps into a pedestrian on the road. Yeah, you can imagine, like, also add your own experiences as well. You can also do that. Would it be with the lack of cycling skills or safety knowledge be the cause of this. Also, for the part 2, your essay has to be formal. And this is considered an argumentative essay. Over here. And depending on your text type, regardless of your text type, you should be writing informal. Which means, I'll give you some examples. It's, nope. You should use it is. What's, nope. No apostrophes. What is? Yo, bro. Nope. And I would say you should write this in about 5 paragraphs. I understand it. It only requires you to write like 250 words, but I would say you should aim for at least 500, just like in the DSE. So IELTS writing. Paper 2. There's 2 parts. Part A, it will require you to write 150 words. Not really part A, part 1. 150 words. I would advise you to write about 250. At least brainstorm your ideas, even if you only have a graph. Consider this like citizenship and social development. In part 2, for 250 words, I would go for 500 plus. That way, your content would be enriched and you could explain in more detail. Now, I saw this one as well. If you try to write more words than the person who is going to grade your exam will understand even better on how you try to enrich your content. And don't just do the bare bones. No, just go this. So that's pretty much it for IELTS 2025. I may make some more videos about the IELTS, but right now I'm just gonna keep on with this video. So if you have any questions about the IELTS, yeah, sure, you can ask me. I've taken the exam already. So this is pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching.